You don't have another good morning. Okay. Good morning. It's 9:03 a.m., Monday, February the 22nd. I want to welcome everybody to Hale County Commissioners Court. And also remind you to sign the sign-in sheet if you haven't already done so this morning. The first thing this morning, we will pledge allegiance to the flag, followed by the invocation, which will be led by Commissioner Hale. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning with a grateful heart, thanking you for the moisture that we got last week. And Lord, just thank you for the mercy, the grace, and the daily bread we get each and every day. Lord, be with us as we go over these items on the agenda. Help us to vote or your will, Lord, and help you to get the glory for all of our actions. Lord, we pray in your most precious name.
Okay, next on our agenda will be to approve the minutes from our regular meetings of February the 8th, and our special meetings of February the 5th, February the 12th, and our emergency meeting on February the 10th. I believe everyone's had a chance to review those minutes. So I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes from those meetings. Have a motion from Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? I'll second. I have a second from Commissioner Kelly. The next thing we have up is the auditor's report.
Good morning.
This morning, okay, the next step will be the treasurer's report. Okay, on the judge's part of the agenda, we have the Petersburg EMS report. Looks like they had 3 dispatches, 2 transports, 1 non-transport, for a total of 3. They had a total revenue on this report of $9,438.33, and total expenses of $9,161.68 for a negative $23.35. The next thing on the judge's agenda will be. Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Yes, do I hear a motion to approve the Petersburg EMS report?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Kelly, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Daniels seconds, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, now we'll go to the grant. Back in May, we authorized Judge Mull to submit an application on behalf of Hale County for a SPAG grant for the COVID-19. We was eligible at the time for, they indicated, for an amount of $17,000, $20,000. We have received back an approval for the grant, and it looks like an amount of $30,000. We will have some more work to do to get the money, but they have approved it. And I'd like a motion this morning to accept it. They approved our grant. We have a motion from Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Kelly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on the agenda to the judge will be a proposal from Alpha Lab for loop cleaning and treatment of rakes back in it. David, did you want to speak to that?
Yes, most of you know that we've had these issues with our boiler for years and years and years. And come to light that, these pipes just, They're just like a radio in your car. And we had Anthony Mechanical last year put in these two cleaning units with some little socks in there that cleans the loops and all the water that goes through for the chiller and the boiler. And those things are just so nasty. I clean them once a week and put them in bleach. Well, finally, I asked one of the technicians that came out from Johnson Controls to recommend someone to put something in these pipes to clean them. And he sent this gentleman by the name of Matthew Blake from Alpha Labs. And his recommendation was that we get 20 gallons of Alpha 15 cleaner. Do y'all have a copy of this?
Yes.
No, everyone's got a copy of it? Okay. And there's 10 gallons of Alpha cleaner to apply to each loop for a week. And then we clean the filters daily, which I would take care of cleaning those daily. After circulating the 415 cleaner for a week, the whole system will be drained. An Alpha 850 corrosion will be introduced to the lab system. 20 gallons of Alpha 8050 will be needed to properly treat the chill loop and so on and so forth. And they'll provide the filters to ensure proper removal. And the thing he did caution was that once he puts these chemicals in there, we may start having leaks. It's just like when you clean a radiator, you clean the radiator right, and all the things that were plugged in there, it'll start coming apart. That's the only bad part about this, that we start doing that. We may find leaks in some of these.
I like everything you said, because you got to that.
Really?
That's the caution that he told me. He said, David, you know, it may not happen, but if it does, it can happen. You know, but
We still don't have a choice.
yeah, we've got to do this. And I've called Anthony Mechanical already, and I told them that what we're going to do, and that which they will, they'll come down and take care of any issues if we do have this. But it's $400 per quarter, $1,600 per year. That includes the delivery, the little sock filters, and quarterly on-site testing of samples. Where it says here, the taxes, of course. I already told him, you know, we're tax exempt. So,
Okay, David, thank you for
you bet.
the information. I do believe we need to treat this system in order to extend the longevity of it, hopefully. I would entertain a motion to allow Alpha Labs to treat our HVAC system.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion from Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Was it? I can't see with these. Okay, we had a motion from Commissioner Daniels. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second from Commissioner Kelly. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's all that we have on the judges, agenda this morning. The next up is the sheriff's office.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all?
Good, how are you?
Good. You're welcome. The sheriff just has personnel this morning. Hiring of 2 people. First one being Aaliyah Patino. Effective date February 15th as a certified jailer. She's on the back page, I think, of the staple copy. Starting at a 13-1 on our pay scale.
What was your name again?
Aaliyah Patino.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, then the next one is James Rockwell, same effective date of February 15th. He is coming in as a sergeant in the jail with a pay group of 14, step 8. He had left us for military deployment, and then he comes back at the rate that he left, and I confirmed with the treasurer's office that that's where he was a 14-8. So that's where he comes back with the same position. Yeah, he left. And then the last item regarding personnel is Lisa Perry. Effective date will be February 23rd. She's currently a jailer, and she's getting promoted to an outside deputy position. So she will go to a Group 17, Step 1. That's effective tomorrow.
Okay, the first personnel change we'll do here is Lisa Perry. She will go from a jailer to an outside deputy.
Yes, sir.
And at a pay grade of 17, Step 1, with an effective date of February the 23rd, 2021. Do I hear a motion to approve this personnel change?
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Kelly. Do I hear a second? Have a second. Commissioner King. All in favor say aye. Motion carries. The next one we have on here will be James Rockwell. He will be a returning employee from the military, in the military, and he will come in at his pay grade is 14, Step 8, and his effective date will be February 15, 2021. Do I hear a motion to approve the hiring?
Make a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Daniel. Do I hear a second? We have a second from Commissioner Kelly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the last one we have this morning will be Aaliyah Patino. She'll be hired at Step 13, Step 1, also effective February the 15th, 2021. Do I hear a motion to approve her hiring?
Make a motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
We have a second from Commissioner Daniels. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Welcome all these folks to the county.
That's all the sheriff had, Matthew. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Jan Forrest. Jimmy, can you speak to this? I think it has to do with the grant to the Hale County,
It's a halfway water supply.
the halfway water supply.
I hadn't been filled in on it, so I don't.
Okay, so we'll just table this and not take any action until we get some more information on it. And then next up will be Commissioner Precinct 4.
All right, I have an application here to cross County Road 30. The applicant is Greg Griffin, and the contractor is Golan Irrigation out of Olton. They'll be crossing County Road 30, and the closest other road is County Road D. So I'm making a motion to approve this.
Okay, we have a motion to allow Greg Griffin to.
Oh, and have you sign this?
Okay. Did I sign that or wait and let the judge sign it? I'll put it on, or we'll put it in there to allow the judge.
It
to
says
sign
county judge or presiding officer.
Okay, we have a request from Greg Griffin to do a road crossing on County Road 30. We have a motion from Commissioner Kelly to allow this road crossing. Do I hear a second? We have a second from Commissioner King, and also in that motion, can we allow the judge to sign it?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
But I do have a check here for,
Okay, next up we have Judge Davis and Judge Collins. Judge Davis wasn't able to be here this morning. She did call. Do you want to speak to this, Judge Collins?
Yes, actually, I'd like to ask Bree-Sherry to speak.
Gentlemen, I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. I'm just going to take just a couple of minutes. I'd like to introduce a couple of people that are with me. Bill Pinkins, a partner with the Farm Works out of the Amarillo office, and Danny Barrett, office manager in the Lubbock office. So if you all decide to let us work for you, collecting your fine and fees, which Ms. Davis and Ms. Collins both would like for us to do, you'll be represented. Amarillo will have an office, and Lubbock will have an office with attorneys and court personnel to help you. What they'd like to do, what they're proposing this morning, understanding that they would like to give us the opportunity to represent them and to help them with their collections. They're currently using another vendor. They'd like to give us the opportunity. We represent almost everybody in the area, so that's short and sweet. We'd like to have you gentlemen to endorse us and give us the opportunity to work for you in collections.
My memory serves me right, this contract is for 2 years at a time, is that right?
No, sir, I believe our contract is for a year, Mr. Tyree.
The contract that they sent us, of course, as far as the mechanics of everything, it's basically the same as we've had in the past as far as providing information to the law firm, and then they go about their business. But the main thing is the term. It's basically just an ongoing contract, the way it is. Now, this is subject to y'all's approval. But it gives us the ability to give 30 days notice, and that's the end of it. So, I think the upside to that is, we don't have to remember to come back every year and get this taken care of. And we can, it'll still give you the ability, and if the judges, for some reason, become unhappy, we can give 30 days notice, and that's it. And there's a provision, once the contract terminates, I believe that Purdue Brandon has 6 months to wrap up outstanding business, and they can still get paid for whatever was in the pipeline. And then once y'all get to the point of, if you decide to approve this, I need to say a couple of things to you after that, but that's the answer to that question.
Okay.
The reason we set it up that way is, as far as the automatic renewal, as Mr. Tyree said, is that if a year from now we don't happen to come back in on that date and sign a new contract, there could be a potential of us collecting our fees when we technically don't have a contract with the county, which could potentially expose the county to liability. So that's why we asked that we set up the automatic renewals in the contracts that way. So.
Okay, well, Judge Collins is here this morning, and she's expressed that she's satisfied with the work you guys have been doing. Judge Davis was unable to be here this morning. She had a hearing, but she did state that she was also satisfied. Everybody seems happy with the work you guys are doing, so I would entertain a motion to extend this contract for New Brandon Fielder, Collins and Mott.
I will make that motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Daniels.
Can I say my other things now?
I knew you were gonna sleep back here.
There's actually 3 things, because this is a contingency fee contract, the legislature has imposed some rules on those types of contracts. And so there's actually 3 things y'all need to do this morning in this process. The first is you need to make 3 findings. First, that there's a substantial need for these legal services specified in the contract. Sorry, I'm about to suffocate. Second, these legal services cannot be adequately performed by the attorneys and supporting personnel of Hale County. If, for example, my office was going to do it, we'd probably have to hire, I don't know, I think at least 2 or 3 more people to do it. And third, that the legal services can't reasonably be obtained from somebody under a hourly fee contract. So, and I don't think you would want to pay somebody for the hours it takes to, locate people and then try to collect, even if you're going to pay if you're not collecting. So that's the first thing, is you need to approve those 3 findings. The second thing is, of course, the contract. And then the third thing is an order providing a fee to defray the cost of collecting it, which basically imposes an additional 30% on top of whatever the fine and fees are that they're collecting. There's a 30% charge. So the attorney, the Purdue Brandon, is going to be paid out of by the debtors and not out of the county's portion of the fees that's being collected.
And that's the way it's always been.
Yes, yes, yeah, they have their own, it's kind of like our credit card charge, you know, when you file something, you know, you pay an additional dollar or whatever that's paying the charge for the credit card, so. So those are the three things that need to be approved. Sorry.
Okay. You've heard the stipulations from our county attorney regarding this contract. Based on that, do I have a motion to approve this contract? Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner King. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a second from Commissioner Kelly. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll be working with Judge, and appreciate the opportunity to work for you, and if anybody has any questions, let us know. Have a great day.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Okay, next up on the agenda, we have Mike Walks with our fourth quarter 2020 EDC report. No,
Where do you want me? Can I come up here?
Yes, you can.
Pass it out. Send those around.
I know I don't have my mask on this morning. Between not being able to breathe and my glasses fogging up, I will say I've had both my vaccines.
I've had both of mine, so I'm gonna take mine off while I do this, if that's okay. I'll try and kind of keep my distance. Judge, Commissioners, on behalf of the EDC, its Board of Directors, I want to thank you for having me here today. Before I begin my report, I want to thank you for renewing the EDC annual contract and for the financial support that you guys provide. This, of course, is, without saying, very important to our organization and helps us do what we do. Today's report is going to highlight the EDC's fourth quarter 2020 activities, and following that report, I'll be happy to entertain any questions that y'all might have. Always like to point out some of the current economic indicators that kind of give you a little bit of insight on kind of how we're doing. Our current unemployment rate is standing at 7.3, and that peaked out back in May and during the height of COVID at about 10.1. Before COVID, we were running somewhere in the 4 to 5% range as far as our unemployment numbers are concerned. Our current workforce is hovering, and it's been hovering around 12,000 for quite some time, but it's right now it's 11,700, and that of course has slipped since the closing of Cargill. We were up around 15,000 or so labor force in Hale County prior to that. Going back to October, one of the things that the EDC, the Chamber, and the City of Plainview participated in was along with 58 other communities across the state, was a Region XLRA program that was sponsored by the University of Texas, their IC Squared Institute. That's their think tank. And this initiative grew as a response to the COVID-19 crisis. We had a 6-week period there where we met once a week, and the thing that we were charged with was to identify a problem in our community and develop some goals to address those problems. And it was interesting as we went through that process, everybody pretty much, if you'll flip the page, the thing that we identified and everybody could pretty much agree on was we needed to do some things from an appearance standpoint in our city to improve that. Dilapidated residential properties in neighborhoods and empty or outdated commercial buildings on our major thoroughfares were some things that needed to be addressed. So once we identified that problem, then we developed some goals to try and address the problem. We came away with 5 total goals, but I've only highlighted 3 of them here in my report. The 3 that I've identified is construct a welcome to Plainview sign that would be located on I-27 as well as on Highway 70, our major thoroughfares coming into town. Business facade and property improvement grants. Develop a program for businesses along Fifth Street and I-27 to receive grants to improve their facade. Also, the removal of dilapidated and abandoned signs along our major corridors. As you drive around town, you see a lot of signs that are still up and businesses no longer there. So we targeted identifying like 10 of those and see if we can get those removed. So it was a good process. Jeffrey Snyder was involved, Tanya Cassini with Chamber. We also had Melinda Brown with Main Street, several others from the city as well. So it was a good program, and it helped us to identify some areas that we might want to target to make our community look better. Next slide. The EDC received a Workforce Excellence Award from the Texas Economic Development Council. We, along with other EDCs in the Workforce Solutions of the South Plains region, were recognized for the matching grant program that we have for our area schools. You'll recall PISD has received about $40,000 in grants that they have been able to leverage, equaling about $80,000 to purchase various equipment for their CTE program, including welding, their culinary arts program, some medical equipment, some welding equipment, things of that nature. And since we are the Plainview Hale County EDC, we also helped Abernathy. We bought about $4,000 worth of laptops for their ag CTE program that they have there. So, and they were able to, again, because it's a matching grant, that $4,000 turned into $8,000. So it's a really good program, and it's kind of coordinated through LEDA, Local Economic Development Alliance, but there's a number of the EDCs in the region that participated in that. So we got some good statewide recognition for that program. And that'll continue as long as we continue to get incentive money from the city and the county to do these kind of things. We feel like it's very important from a workforce development standpoint, which is certainly something we need to address in our region. While we're handing out awards, I guess, or receiving awards, the Texas Downtown Association awarded the Conrad Lofts facility the winner of the Best Renovation, Rehab, Restoration category in populations under 50,000. And that was presented during the Texas Downtown Association's virtual annual meeting that they had back in October. Next slide. The Plainview Hale County EDC, of course, is a member of the High Ground of Texas. And we were able to have our in-person High Ground annual meeting in Odessa. And just highlight a few of the things that were on the program for you. Retail Strategies was there. If you're not familiar with Retail Strategies, that is the retail consulting firm that the city of Plainview is contracted with to help bring retail businesses into Plainview. And they are really greatly responsible for a lot of what we're seeing right now with Braum's and with Sutherland Lumber, with Ace Hardware. Some of those retail businesses that are coming our way, Retail Strategies has had a hand in that. They're a very good company, and they do a really good job. But they gave a program on COVID-19 retention, retail disruption rather, in the High Ground of Texas. And basically it kind of boiled down to, we're not really sure what the full impact of retail is going to be through COVID, because I think a lot of businesses, they kind of thought outside the box, they kind of kept things going for a while. But as this thing drug on and on, their resources started to run really thin. So I'm not sure we've seen the full impact of what it's going to mean in a lot of our smaller local communities with regard to these small mom and pop businesses being able to, stay afloat. We're hoping that they will do that, but I think the jury's still out on some of that, I think. We also had a representative from the Texas Hemp Growers Association that gave a program on opportunities for hemp. I think our region perhaps is one that, from a standpoint of meeting some of the criteria for growing hemp, I think we meet that standard. Some of you were involved in a discussion that we had with a company that was going to put a hemp gin here in Plainview. We got really far along in those discussions. They ended up going to Wichita Falls, but they left the door open, saying that as hemp starts to become a cash crop in Texas, this region, they like it very much. I guess you could probably speak to hemp better than I can, but it kind of fits the same profile from the standpoint of they want to be where cotton is. And so I think there's a lot of information yet to be learned before hemp is really a viable crop in our region, but at least there's some indication that there could be some potential there at some point in time. SBA was there. They kind of gave a little bit of an update on the recovery efforts due to COVID. Mayor Dan Pope from Lubbock was there and gave a presentation on Ports to Plains and its impact. Of course, Ports to Plains is very important to us because we're right on that corridor here on I-27. We're right in the heart of that. So I think that's going to continue to play a role in our future as far as our economic viability is concerned. Next slide, turning to November, had a site selector conference call. This was a company requesting 150,000 square foot existing building for food processing. This is still a live prospect. Whenever we get calls from companies wanting existing large buildings, there's really only one place I can go with them, and that's send them out to the old Cargill plant. And we've got several prospects that are still viable prospects that have not fallen out of the pipeline. So we'll see how that works out. The other thing the EDC did, we approved the housing study contract with Community Development Strategies, CDS, and I'll come back and speak to that here in just a moment. Flipping over to December, had a conference call with site selector representing a couple of food processing prospects. One is looking to move their facility onshore. It is currently an overseas operation. Both are requesting 100,000 square foot existing buildings, and I provided information on the Cargill facility. So when I'm getting leads for different companies that are looking to either relocate or expand, for the most part, they're looking for existing buildings. They are not wanting some type of new construction or build to suit, which really is kind of hampering our marketing efforts of our business park right now because we don't have a spec building out there. So what I'm trying to do is maybe look at the potential of getting some investors or developers who might be interested in building a spec building in our business park. If you look at most of the business parks in the region, those are all owned by the EDC because the EDCs in these other communities are collecting sales tax revenue, which we don't have. So they have the war chest to go out and build a 20,000, 30,000 square foot building and lease it out or sell it to a prospect or something along those lines. We just don't have the resources to get that done right now. So we're going to have to look at private financing possibly to accomplish that. So I've started to reach out to some different individuals as well as some groups that might be able to help us out and build a building out there. I think that's the way we're going to jumpstart that business park, is to have a building out there for somebody to move into. When I first took this job, there was a tendency for if you had a building, if you built a spec building, it wasn't necessarily the best thing to do because it might not be exactly what somebody would want. Well, now that's totally flip-flopped. They want a building already built for them, but it needs to be, tilt-up concrete, it needs to be 30-foot ceilings, it needs to be basically a rectangular shell sitting on a rectangular plot.
So larger building would you be looking at building for that?
Well, we think probably, based on the inquiries that I get, Kenny, we got to build something that's at least 50,000 square feet. And that's very costly. Now, it's my understanding that you can keep that cost down if you just basically don't finish anything out. If you just basically build the shell, and then they can come in and customize it to what they need. It cuts that construction cost down. Of course, now with COVID, and I know lumber, for example, has just gone through the roof, and I think a lot of construction costs we're going to be seeing some big jumps, I think, in building cost. So we don't have that working in our favor, but I think that's what it's going to take. We're going to have to get a spec building out there to get our business park up and running. Next slide. I mentioned the High Ground to Texas. Every year in December, we make a trip down to Austin. It's called the Austin Allies Trip, where we meet with various state agencies. We weren't able to do that in person this year because Austin was shut down, but we did do some Zoom meetings with several of the agencies. We met with the Governor's Office of Economic Development, as well as TVA, Workforce Commission, and the Texas Film Commission. And it's good, I think, for us to keep ourselves in front of those different state agencies so that they know, that we're here. I think sometimes if you're west of I-35, you're forgotten about when it comes to Austin. So I think it's important that we keep that up. I always talk about my pipeline. At this particular time, I got 3 food processors that are requesting large existing buildings of anywhere from 100 to 150,000 square foot. The full-time employment ranges from anywhere from 75 up to 250. I don't have the exact salaries, but we know kind of what the salary range for a food processing facility is. We've done some research on that. These would be pretty good paying jobs. I also have a warehouse distribution company. This is a foreign company. They're needing an existing building, 15 to 20,000 square foot on rail. I have located the building for them, and we're in the process of trying to work with them. That site has made the final cut, so hopefully something will come there. But there are other communities that are also that are have responded, and they've got sites that will work for this company as well. So I'm working real closely with them. We also have one retail business looking at both existing building and new construction options. They'd employ about 25 people. I really was hoping I could make an announcement on this one before I met with you. We're getting real close on that. It's going to be great for our community, and can't wait to spread the news when we are able to. Of those 10,000 workers, 54% of them live outside the city of Plainview. So that tells me that we have a housing crisis right now. So it hampers my efforts if I'm going out trying to recruit a new company to come to town. One of the things they ask me about is housing. Do you have housing for our, for this many workers? And so so you flip that coin over, you go to a builder and developer to say, hey, I think we need housing. They say, well, where are the jobs to support that? Who are going to buy these houses that I'm going to build? So you got a chicken or an egg thing. So I think for us to get out ahead of that, we do this housing study, get us some good, hard data that we can then go to a developer and say, look, we've done our homework on this, we've done our market research, and we should get the results of this study back by the end of February. And what they will provide us is it's a fairly thick, full-blown economic report that has an executive summary in it that gives us some direction where we can go to a developer and say, hey, we need X number of single-family homes, we need X number of duplexes or rental properties or whatever the case might be, whatever their findings are. So it gives us some ammunition to get, to try and get out ahead of addressing our housing needs. So I think that's going to be very important to us going forward in our future. But yeah, 54% live outside the city of Plainview, which kind of floored me a little bit. I'll entertain any questions that you might have at this time. Don't keep those, by the way, if you.
Well, I got it right here in my file.
Ah.
No, I got a pile of them.
I do appreciate the information, and also want to thank you for the work you do in promoting Hale County, Plainview, as a director of our EDC. You mentioned in there the effect of COVID. It has been devastating to our small businesses. I want to, as a small business owner myself, I want to thank the people in these businesses here in Plainview, restaurants and whatnot, that work so hard to keep things going and keep their employees employed. I think on a positive note, these numbers are looking a lot better with COVID.
I agree.
They're trending in the right direction. They're going way down in the whole area, and I hope and pray that keeps going.
I totally agree. I want to thank you all for the partnership that we have. I think if we've learned one thing over the last years after we lost the Cargill plant, is that we have to work together as a team. I'm talking about the city, the county, the EDC, all of our entities have to pull together in order for us to, really get us back on track as far as our local economy is concerned. So I appreciate the great support that y'all provide, and we're out there working hard every day to try and, make things happen. So, and we can't do it without your support.
And it's really been good to see Brahms and some of the Sutherlands and some of the other businesses that are working to put things in here. This Brahms deal's been really good. They covered up out there.
Yeah, and like I say, there's more to come, and it really is pretty amazing when you think about it. During the very height of COVID, we've had a real good influx of new companies come to town. I can't wait till they get started on the totem facility. That's going to be another one that's really going to be good.
Do you have any idea when that might start?
I would think it's going to be sooner or later. I haven't talked to Greg Mitchell about it, but they've got the ground ready. It's ready to go. I would think they'd move fairly quickly on it. Sutherland's, I know they're doing a lot of work. You can't really tell they're doing a lot because most of it's on the inside, but there are some things they're starting to do on the outside that are becoming noticeable. So
I went by there and looked at it here recently. You can tell they're working on it.
Ace Hardware is going to be a great one for us as well. We got some fast foods coming and that sort of thing.
We were talking one day, Mike, and somebody did a study, and it amazed me when you told me how many cars they figured run up and down that interstate every day.
There's the traffic count now, and I think that is also one of the things that's leading to us seeing a little bit more retail starting to come about. We're up to about 22,000 cars a day on I-27. The other one that amazed me is 5th and Columbia here. 5th and Columbia is about 15,000.
When Office decided to put their store in there, I was kind of amazed. They knew what they was doing.
Well, same way with Sonic, whenever they were putting that Sonic in, I don't know about that, but it's worked out good. So.
Somebody told me a few years ago that United, when they put that deal in, and then when Chase Dickerson, they just moved that liquor store in there, that Columbia and 24th Street, at that point in time, was the busiest intersection in Plainview.
Yeah. We got some traffic, and, people go, well, I think our population is kind of suffering. I'm not sure. I don't know when those census numbers are going to be coming out, but a lot of people think we might dip below 20,000. But I don't know. Judging from the traffic I see and all the things that I see going on, if we're going to see a drop, it doesn't look like it to me. The other thing I think that's going to be key is I think there's going to be more wind and more solar. I think renewables is going to be big going forward. And I'm hopeful that we'll maybe see the remainder of the Hale wind farm completed. Petersburg has certainly benefited greatly from that portion of it that's already been put online. So that's my report, and thank you all for the opportunity. I'll see you next quarter.
Thank you. The next thing on our agenda will be Andy Hart, Blaine Reed. I believe Blaine's here to speak to us this morning.
Yes, sir.
You have to vote on it. You have to vote to accept that.
Okay. Hold on on just a minute, Blaine, let me vote on accepting Mike's report here. Do I hear a motion to accept the EDC quarterly report?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion from Commissioner Daniels, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Have a second from Commissioner Kelly, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries, thank you, Blaine. Okay, Blaine, go ahead.
Thank y'all for hearing me this morning. Andy is away at stock shows, of course. So what we're here today is requesting the use of the Dollar Liner Center for our annual Hale Swisher Crops Conference on Monday, April 5th. We had that set for the first part of February with the COVID concerns. We postponed it. We've looked at some virtual, which we are going to do some virtual things, but the virtual AgriLife meetings, they just haven't had any impact. I usually speak to Amarillo Farm Show. 120 to 150 people usually. We had 12 virtually. So keeping the standard format. Now we're going to do some things virtually here in Hale County with Andy and I. We're going to do some roundtables, hour and a half, in and out, very target specific, and maybe try to loop in some new perspective, new folks that usually don't come to the meetings, but we still have the need to have the meeting. And we postponed, and things have been looking a little bit better on the COVID front. We still need to take precautions, and we would take them pretty standardly as far as attendance. We usually have between 90 and 120, but that's when we always have that in early February. When we get off of that date, and we have on a couple of occasions since I've been in Hale County, is the attendance is only 40 or 50. I think we would probably seat that around and take all the precautions usual with these meetings. But A&M AgriLife is allowing, with the ease of tensions, speakers to cross county lines to get kind of moving out, and things were looking pretty good as far as being able to host some face-to-face meetings with precautions being taken. Some of the precautions we'd be looking at, of course, masking up and have the alcohol on hand. Instead of seating out for 100, 120, we would probably pull a bunch of those chairs out and only have seating for 50. It would be my best estimate, which is well within our, I don't even know what the capacity on the liner is, but I've been in meetings there with over 200. So I think we'd be well within our restrictions there. We need to take precautions with the food. That can't be buffet style. We need to make for the meal, but we are looking at an all-day meeting. An 8 to about a 4 o'clock kind of set up meeting with sponsors covering most of the cost of it. So that this would be our annual meeting. I see a real need to get our information out to growers. We've got a lot of outlets, but there's nothing really replaces those face-to-face meetings if we can.
Just be like an all-day meeting?
Yes, sir. Yeah. The usual Hale Swisher Crops Conference, we usually draw from south of Dewey all the way up to Abernathy, then Lockney to halfway. Alton usually make that meeting. And then, like I say, we will have a preparedness plan that will be pretty standard cut and dry with the social distancing will be enforced, masking up, alcohol, no buffet style. I think even the vendors can't just have your pins out there in a tub that everybody grabs. We're going to take precautions the whole way around on these things. And we're willing to do so.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion to approve the Holly Liner Center to be used for the Crops Conference on Monday, April the 5th, 2021. Do I hear a motion?
Also move.
Have a motion from Commissioner King. Do I hear a second? A second from Commissioner Daniels. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Also, Blaine, I'm sorry about the recent loss of your mother.
And I appreciate that.
Okay, I believe next up we have Jim Torrey. We will be going into a closed meeting pursuant to section 551 .087 of the Texas Penal Code to discuss a potential business prospect.